Okay, Taurus, I had to do your reading in a rather urgent manner. I wasn't quite sure how to do it though, so this is the message. It seems you've been tasked with a rather heavy task of coming to terms with some things and helping the world come to terms with some things, which is sometimes not like the best or the most fun assignment, but someone has to do it, right? So the pre-message or the pre-channeling that came through was like this person, this human person, suddenly becoming aware. And I mean, it's not like it hasn't been right there in your face, right? But suddenly becoming aware that when people have been talking about like the net that is going to wrap itself around the planet and blah, 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 there's going to come a time when, if a brave new world does unfold and people are able to choose um, genetic therapy or embryonic stem cell research advances, they will choose the highest vibration at all times because that's the most empirical or pure sample of something. So if we were mining gold, we were a gold mine. This is the moon in reverse. That's what we'd be going for. The most empirical samples of every single element from a different location. When you hit the alpine, might be different from the tundra. I learned that in Ballarat. But it's about knowing what is in your surroundings. It's about knowing that a yucca plant has different healing properties than aloe vera. Which one do you use during a sunburn? Well, first of all, which one do you have access to? Second of all, which one is more healing for sunburn? Probably aloe vera. How do you know that? Read the sunscreen ingredients or the recovery ingredients. What's on the back? Which plant or animal does that correlate with? Right? And once you get that there's this farming of plants and animals, you get that there's a farming of human gold mine energy as well. You really don't have to be a looker. It's like having a voice for radio or like a face for television. You can have one, but you could also have a face for radio. Right? And that's a dangerous thing if it's taken out of context. You could proliferate that in a couple different ways. You could splice up every kind of word and letter within that word so that it becomes alphanumeric. We could break it down to that point, make it into more of a Morse code type of a thing. It's realizing that the robotics are aware of you, and they've made it a mission to make something a mission. And you don't know what that mission is. Some people do. You could just, here, let me help. This is an actual thing. This is an actual thing. This exists inside of you already. Yeah. It's a, sorry, I'm holding it upside down because, that's the way I like to. Anyway, the biogenealogy source book is healing the body by resolving traumas of the past. That is time travel. Your heart traveled with you this entire time. So did your lungs and your intestines and the entire ecosystem that lives inside of your body. And it has to stay in homeostasis. You can't be exactly like your sister. You can't be exactly like your brother. You got to be yourself. And if you're not, then you get stuck in the past, which is kind of like saying, oh, the only religion to ever exist or have any impact on humanity ever was one religion in particular. Which one was that? Why is that relevant? Isn't it far more fascinating to explore the fascia of differences that actually does link us somewhat in connection? It's common ground. It's a cup of coffee. It's a cup of chai, a little tea, some bigelow. Okay? That's what it is. It's a communication. It's a network. It's that net that's going to catch the world up in the palm of its hand. You know what I mean? It's the greater intelligent artificial, if that's what you want to call it. I don't think it's artificial. Robots are artificial, but that's why they became aware of us a lot sooner than we became aware of them. They had to pass the Turing test. The concern about iRobot is no longer a concern. It's been here. And the World Wide Web is basically this World War III for your sensory systems. So if someone's controlling it, what if it's us collectively? And what if that's the message that we're sending out into the universe? You see, if she has this cup in her hand that looks a lot like that. It's knowledge to a light, which is to step up your game, step up your energy, step up your frequency on with this cup is what she's holding in her hand. She's got the whole world in her hand. Yeah. And it's a symbiotic relationship with the robotic world because it has to be. That doesn't mean that it's only going to be the nice frequencies that you're going to pick up on. Sometimes they sound like they're getting there, but it's a process and it's one that you have to define. Look, this is the 9. That's the additional 1. That's that one hair past a freckle that tells you everything that you need to know. You see what I mean? There goes the frequency. I don't know that people are understanding what I'm trying to say, but I know that you will, Taurus. This is a dualistic reading for you and your counterpart. Understand that this upcoming month has something to do with needing to like hold the gold mine a little bit more sacred than you had. Yeah. Maybe don't hold like that biogenealogy source book started in the upright or in the reverse, excuse me, and I had to turn it into the upright. The things that look upside down may not actually be upside down. It depends on which way that things are being framed and also the perspective with which you will use your faculties. Yeah. There you are, Taurus, arriving in your own reading because we're now done. There's judgment. It's a really difficult thing to have the ability to free people that just refuse to leave. Like you open the cage and you're like, and they're like not excited that you've just opened the cage. And maybe I am that person at some points in time, but at most points in time, I think sometimes you just hang out upside down for a while to let your wings dry off before you really take flight. That's the judgment. I guess this is going to be yeah, let's call this the warm down. This is parting the waters. This is literally letting your wings dry. There was something about a creature that was walking on the ceiling, and it sounded scary when I said it, but I don't think it was. I think it was this. I think that sometimes if the floor is if the floor is lava, okay, Mr. Lova Lova, ooh, he's like parting the crowd. Like, that is a good looking specimen right there. But this one's like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out upside down being awkward over here because I already know what that fire feels like. And it will scorch my little wings to the point where they will no longer exist. hmm Just, you know how you can singe your eyebrows or your nose hairs? Yeah, it's like that. It's like having something in your eye all day or on the corner of your mouth and nobody says anything to you about it, so you don't change it. You're just like not realizing that everyone can see your shark teeth. It's like that, Taurus. I really, really do sympathize with your pain. I can't um necessarily tell you what to do. This is all just speculation after all. It's all just for entertainment purposes only. Here's Peaks of Joy coming out. It seems that you would need to take a leap of faith to get out of the burning room or don't be a butterfly. Just be like a miniature dragon for just a minute and like fight fire with fire and get out of the room. Right, there you go. Hang out upside down and fight fire with fire for just a moment. See how we just lit the wings on fire? Now it's like Phoenix energy, but opposite. I see what you did there. So that's what I mean. We went from 33 to 36 here. That's the leap of faith. It's like taking a spiral turn. I think in Denzel Washington's movie, he has to land the plane, right? And I think they're upside down for a minute. I do believe that they're upside down for it. There's the 22 intentional landing strip. No, I'm not even teasing you. That's exactly what happened. For a moment, you have to hang upside down. And it's like being a bat in a bat cave when you have something. I'm not kidding. You're going to come across as crazy, but who cares, right? If you care about other people's opinion, you already hit rock bottom. Okay. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that this, like, in the moments of rock bottom situations, you need to have, like, both perspectives. They don't really necessarily care if you look great if you're a think tank and you're the shark in that think tank. As long as you're the one pumping the ideas out, they really don't have any use for the way you look. Your value is definitely insured in many other very, very solid ways. Very solid, I just said. I just said that. So nobody has to question, nobody has to wonder, nobody has to ponder a lot unless they just want to. In which case, a happy day. I don't know why I'm hearing no shit, Sherlock. Yeah, there we go. Everyone worth their salt water and weight is hanging out upside down. Why? Because salt water increases what? Buoyancy. It's like a buoy with some boy, so like some a, a bounce back. Like, boy, what? Anyway, I gotta I gotta jet, but it's been a pleasure hanging out with you, Taurus, and I hope that the rest of your March is, well, great all up until tomorrow. Happy April Fool's Day after then.